Good day, everyone. It is now 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So good day to you all. Good afternoon. For those of you on the East Coast, I believe it's 12 o'clock for those that are Central Time. Can you guys hear me okay? Am I coming through loud and clear? Put a little notion in the chat. Everything's fine. Good, good. Thank you, Frenchie.
Loud and clear.
All right. So I'm going to go over, and as people come in, a couple of questions that came in through Patreon today. One of those questions is, what is the order of process? Even though you are in the freshman course or maybe the complete tier, which you must start at the freshman course there as well, some people are still a little bit confused as to where they need to begin, or what is the order of operations to complete this thing as quick as possible and most efficiently. To answer that question, everybody has their own set of goals and endeavors. You may be facing a tax issue. You may want to come at this thing from a debt discharge point of view, or you simply just want to be left alone, like me. I would much rather be in a position where I earn as much as I can for myself and my family without being taxed, especially if the laws provide a way for me to do that. But if you are a member, I'll show you how you can begin the proper order of process, because this is a question that has been asked before, and it was during a recent Zoom call on Saturday. And so you can find that Zoom call by simply going into Patreon. I'll show you what that looks like here. So in Patreon, it doesn't matter if you are a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, or if you are in the complete zero tax liability course, you have access to everything, right? Simply, let's say you are selecting your tier. Let's say you're in the junior class. Now, all you do, go to the search, and I want you to type in full course breakdown. Hit search, and it's going to pull up this video that goes over from A to Z what you need to do, in my personal, humble opinion. You will find a document that's attached that's a full course checklist with instructions. So make sure you download that so that you can have it and follow along. Now, number two, please be sure those of you that are actively inside of Patreon, and maybe you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, the 0%, to check out the most recent videos. I'm trying to get you guys educated so that way you can fully perfect your express trust. Now, this one here is talking about transferring trust certificate units to your beneficiaries. And I have given you the minutes to properly document that, including the template on how to draft a share certificate. And you're going to want to put that on bond paper. So check that video out. It walks you through that. Another one was perfecting your copyright. Inside of the course, you guys know about copyrightdepot.com. You find that within the sophomore course. And now we're going to take that to another level, which is the trademark. And most people or companies like Nike here will trademark their service mark, such as this logo. Yours is a straight traditional trademark. It's going to be your full birth name. So it's perfecting the copyright. This is something you can do even after you've completed the course, and just take your documentation to the next level. They're always changing the laws, so we have to adjust with it. All right. Number three, what I want to talk about is we have a couple of questions from our YouTube channel, and I wanted to address that here in our most recent class on the 8th of October. We talked about that affidavit of domicile. And a question came in the comments here. It says, why use the non-UCC instead of a UCC1 filing?
if the non-UCC is considered non-perfected. And I think when I was reading this law, I guess he just didn't read it correctly. So I'm going to go over that really quick. I'm sure you guys know inside of the class why the non-UCC is perfection. So this is Article 9's subsection 311 of the UCC, and it talks about perfecting your security interests. Now let's first understand what is the security interest. It's everything that is within our birth certificate, aka the certificate of title. And so the name that is on there is a sub-corporation beneath the federal corporation, like a franchise. And so franchises pay dues. If you're going to use that social security number, guess what? You're going to have to pay dues. If you use it for employee, if you use it for getting a vehicle or whatever, it is always seeking to pay dues to the parent corporation. So a process such as this, according to Article 9, 311, is how you take yourself out of that. So it says, except as otherwise provided in subsection D, the filing of a financing statement is not necessary. This is a major component that the SPC community uses. It just says the filing of a financing statement is not necessary or effective to perfect a security interest in property subject to. Now, subject to is a very important phrase. And I think this is where the listener on YouTube got confused. Subject to is defined as under the control of, bound by, likely to have, or depending on. So let's use the phrase depending on to replace that. Maybe it'll make better sense. Except as otherwise provided in subsection D, the filing of a financing statement is not necessary or effective to perfect a security interest in property, depending on, and I'm going to go straight to where it says non-UCC. It's not effective depending on, list any statute covering automobiles, trailers, mobile homes, boats, farm tractors, or the like. Now, why is it listing categories such as these? Because all of these contain a certificate of title. When you pay them off, you receive the title to it. It does not want to tell you straight up real estate, so it just says the like. They want to hide that from you. But your property holds a certificate of title as well, so therefore, these apply, which provides for a security interest to be indicated on a what? Certificate of title as a condition or result of perfection. And any non-uniform commercial code central filing statute. This is how they play their trickery. A financing statement is a financing statement. Now you can turn it into a UCC1, or you can turn it into a non-UCC, which perfects the certificate of title. If you do not check off that little box that turns it into a non-UCC to perfect your title, you will then become, or you're just submitting a standard UCC1 financing statement, which is not necessary or effective to perfect a security interest in property. I hope that makes sense. So let's get back to it. Now, normally you ask me questions, right? I have a couple of questions for you guys. I'm going to do something a little bit different. So what I want everybody to do, go ahead and raise your hand. Everyone, click that button, raise your hand. Everyone click that button. I want all hands up. Couple of questions for you all. I'm going to randomly select those that have raised their hand. Okay. Some of you, as your hands are continuously going up, some of you are very, very anxious to finish a process like this. You may have come across this information from the secure party creditor, and there's a lot of forums on Facebook, and you're trying to figure out where things are going. Maybe people are having some successes, maybe they are not, but you're confused. And now you've come across either my book, YouTube, TikTok, whatever I'm using on social media, which led you to Patreon. I'd like to know, including your peers, what are your plans when you are complete with this? What do you expect to do? The question is, what do you expect to do when you're complete with this? I'm going to go with Frenchie. Please unmute your mic, Frenchie.
Hi, everybody. Oh my God. Hi, everyone. My goal after I'm done with
One second.
Even without the trust.
1 second.
But I made those templates
I'm playing my audio
to
here.
work with the trust.
I hope that wasn't playing the entire time. Let's see.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So my plan, once everything is done, is of course building more with my businesses and getting back to real estate a little bit deeper. It's literally it's more for what I'm going to do for my kid, to make sure that she have also the proper education for herself, to move forward with, being over here in the US.
Correct.
Mhm.
Awesome. Now, I believe we may have a couple of people that's participating today who has a certificate of naturalization. And I know that you are one of those people. So you're the lucky one today. I'm going to ask you a second question.
Okay.
So if you hold a certificate of naturalization,
Mhm.
how do you begin authentication?
To my understanding, my certificate of naturalization is already authenticated the day that I made that pledge or became naturalized.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that to perfect that would be to get my French, or my own country, birth certificate, and have it authenticated either at the embassy where I'm at, or go back home and take care of it from over there if you feel like going visiting family and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then having that, and then register it. I mean, yeah.
Excellent. I could not have said that even better than you. And
Okay.
if it's in another language, we know that we're going to have the notary public in that country go ahead and translate it.
Yes.
Good thing is your embassy or your consulate can take care of all of that for you.
And notarize it or certify it. Yes.
Yes, perfect. So thank you so much for that. I think a lot of people are asking that question because they're not born here in the States, but they've come here and they're trying to figure out what is everything that they need to do. So thank you again, Frenchie, for that.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'm going to go to Jean. What are your plans when you complete this process here?
Oh, I was just sitting here thinking about that. I've listened to a lot of your videos and commentaries, and I had my birth certificate double authenticated almost 5 years ago, and I just met a wall. I didn't know anybody that knew what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing I want to do is because you also mentioned in one of your videos that the families on your streets have their express trust set up, and everyone is inside the trust, all of their ins ligas names and all of that. Well, I want to, family members and friends that are open to learning the process, I want to help them
Mhm.
do the process and get out of the democracy and back into the republic as honorable men and women instead of,
Mhm.
persons. And so I'm like a sponge right now. I was released from my employment
Mhm.
about 2 weeks ago, actually. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago because of lack of work. And I was drawing a pretty good salary. And luckily, I have a lot of, I've put away as much as I could in the last 5 years, cryptos, physical silver,
Mhm.
and so I'm in a position where I can take off for a year and just focus on this solely.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so,
So getting back to the republic
mhm,
is the main deal for you. And that's the main deal for me. I hope that is priority for all of you, which is the biggest reason why I've created this community here. And like Gene said, your neighbor down the street is one express trust, even though it's comprised of 5. And maybe the neighbor below that is an express trust comprised of just 2 or 3. But that is how you complete the number of representatives to make a change in legislation. So kudos to you. Thank you very much, Gene. I appreciate your commentary.
thank you for calling on me, Avery. Appreciate it.
How you doing, Tanya? How's it going out in San Diego?
Hey, how's it going? It's good. It was a little cold, and all of a sudden yesterday it was blazing heat. I don't know what happened, but it was a nice little change.
Yes, I'm here
So
in
nice to have you back.
California as well, and it's kind of cold this morning, so we're gonna spend the rest of the day in Los Angeles with my younger brother and my mom. So we'll see
Oh,
if
nice.
it comes
Nice.
up. So tell me, what do you expect to do with this?
Oh my gosh, so many things. I was trying to pinpoint one thing. And I mean, it comes down to, not just wanting to set myself up to protect myself legally from, all these kind of crazy things that are happening, to be able to insulate myself, but also to protect my family down the road, to be able to provide financial stability and generational wealth for myself and my family, but kind of on a bigger scale, to be able to find a way to provide, I don't know, haven or service or something to somebody else that
Yeah.
that isn't able to protect themselves because they don't have necessarily a trust set up. I mean, I would love to help other people set it up, but it's definitely an involved process that not a lot of people choose to do. So if there's something that, that I could do in my position to be able to help other people speak and be heard,
Mhm.
I think that's something that's really important to me.
That is an excellent point. At some point, they will say, sayonara, that's enough. No more 9/8 numbers going out.
Mhm.
And when that happens, we have to provide a refuge for those people.
Exactly.
Mhm. Exactly. And you can still take it a step further with, like, let's say your 9/8 trust is owning 501c3s out there for charitable endeavors. And let's say there's employees out there who are still working and they want to take advantage of not paying taxes. Well, that money can be donated to the 501c3. And because your trust owns that 501c3, you can handle the taxes for them and still get that money back. So there are benefits to it, to stepping into this field. And that is an excellent point that you brought up. Excellent point.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Michael V, if you're there, go ahead and unmute your mic. How's it going?
Hey, Avery.
Hey there.
The goal, what's the end game? After first goal, I guess, would be acquiring as much cash as possible, which I've already started that process. You wouldn't believe how fast my bank account is actually growing now that I've stopped contributing to state income and federal income tax. And the South Dakota thing is still,
and you've
South
got
Dakota.
That, just want to mention this, and also have that what do you call the overflow from that going into that trust enterprise, correct?
Yeah, everything I haven't paid in taxes is just going straight into the trust bank account.
Great, great, good.
Yeah, it's sitting there. The South Dakota thing, we'll talk later, how we take steps to moving closer to
Mhm,
redeeming all the money I've put into this mortgage.
mhm.
So that's part of one of the goals. And
Yes,
the
and
other,
what he's talking about there with South Dakota is one of the 17 discretionary trust states, where it's one of those states that allows your foreign fiduciary to do a petition in their court jurisdiction to solve the debt with any property that you may have. And that property can be in another state outside of South Dakota. So yes, we definitely will talk about that. We do have a call today after this.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and actually, what other goals? Oh, the goal of self-protection. I'm constantly being threatened as a healthcare professional. They might come back at us and say we got to do another third, fourth, fifth COVID booster and want to kill you. I don't, everyone's got an opinion on that subject, but you mentioned at one point that there were no trusts suing these big hospitals, forcing nurses and doctors to get these shots. But I'd like to, if I get put in that situation, I'd like to have my trust send a nasty letter to my HR ton,
right,
back off.
exactly.
That's real. That's true freedom right there, because
It is.
they got everyone by the balls. So
It is. Yes, they do. If it'll work for employees when they were trying to force them to take that jab, and they've utilized some of the information that I've have given them, then it will definitely work for a healthcare professional. Same way. Same way. I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right. Talk to you soon. Second question for you guys. After the birth certificate authentication, what two methods perfects the security interest? After birth certificate authentication, what two methods perfect the security interest? All right. I'm going to go and select Mr. Jonathan Bigelow. Jonathan,
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How are you?
I'm good. Were you able to hear that question?
Yeah. Was you saying two separate things, or two things that need to be done in unison?
Two things that need to be done. You can call them separate, but to me, it looks unison because it all goes inside of the same trust packet.
Right. Affidavit of ownership showing an acceptance,
Mhm.
DBA, and a trust. I would say three.
Mhm. Okay. You got one. That first one, the affidavit of domicile claim of ownership, that's the one that we're definitely going to do after we authenticate. And because we're placing that document in the local newspaper, which is then going to be recorded in the county's office with the clerk. And so that's going to be considered an actual court record. There's no disputing court records that will be admissible as evidence. Now, there's one other thing. You had mentioned a DBA. A DBA proves your copyright. And you also mentioned the trust documentation, such as your trustee minutes. That's a part of it. But there's one other thing that we have to do that goes into the county. One other thing.
The non-UCC.
There you go, a non-UCC, putting that authenticated certificate of title number in the collateral section on the non-UCC. Perfect.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, next question. After you obtain your zero file number from the IRS, you call the IRS department, you do your SS4 interview, and after they have given you your specific zero file number, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Let's go with Yvette. Yvette Calvin, how you doing?
Hi, Avery. I will not be able to answer that question.
Mhm.
I'm not that far yet.
Are you inside of the freshman at least?
Yeah, I am. I
Okay.
am.
How many videos have you got through so far?
I think three.
3? Okay.
But I had problems with trying to log on and get access to it. So
But you're okay now, right?
yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
But my task is, Avery, that I want to go back, and I've looked at the videos, but I want to go back and take notes and look at it again.
Okay. That's what they're there for. You have
Yeah.
24/7 access to it, and it's there for you when you need it.
Yes, yes. I think my goal, if I could answer that,
Sure.
would be to have some generational wealth,
Mhm.
as far as like eradicating, my mortgage, the taxes and stuff, and open up a business. Think about a business.
Mhm.
And I'm not that far yet. This is all new to me, and I'm just trying to grasp everything and trying to stay afloat.
Right.
And because it's to me, it's a new way of living based upon what I've learned so far. And that's just on the public side.
Mhm.
I am gratefully trying to accept all this good information.
Yes, it is a lot of information, but stick with it. Don't lose heart. You will find your goal at the end. And actually, this is one of those subjects where you progress and find a lot of success as you're continuously studying. And I'm always continuously studying. There is never going to be an end to that. So stick with it. And I'm sure, being involved in a community like this with your peers will guide you along the way.
Yes, yes. I did have a question too. Well, a more sort of comment under what you said about earlier about the goals. So I have lived in the matrix, and I have all these things trying to keep my credit straight, and it's excellent, and doing the right thing, in the public, and then now find out that it's just all wrong, and not on my part, but just the way that I've been living as far as trying to be on the straight and narrow.
Mhm.
So in this portion of being in the private, so to speak, it's like I have to start all over again. And what I've accomplished so far, it seems like uh like like poof, almost like just poof.
Right.
Everything that I know and that I've done.
Well, let me just say this. When you create a business, let's say you create an LLC, and if you want to reduce your taxation all the way to zero, you need to have your trust own that LLC. However, it's the trust who is utilizing the benefits of that LLC. The LLC is moving in the public while the trust is operating in the private. That same way of thinking is going to continue with your social security number and the name attached to it. Think of that as an LLC. Your trust is going to control and own that name that's connected to those certificated and uncertificated securities. So it's not like your life is going to completely change. You don't have to go live under a rock or become a monk or a hermit or nothing like that to stay away from the public. Utilize the public, but the owner is the one operating in the private. And you'll further see how to exercise that as you go along. I appreciate your comments. Thank you so much.
I just have one quick comment with the social security number.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I've been learning that you shouldn't use a social security number.
Mhm.
I mean, is that, I mean, do we use it or?
If you have to use it, you have to use it. If you're in that position where you have to use it. But the only way you're going to truly get away from that is if you build business credit to get away from it. What I mean is, let's say you've already selected a title of nobility name, right?
Mhm.
And you've been issued a specific EIN number for that from the IRS. Well, you want to take that name and start using it like a business. Build business credit with it. Go and open up a bank account with it. I prefer an unincorporated association, and start using that in the form of a standard checking account and obtaining business credit cards. You will eventually get a passport in that new title nobility name. So that way you have identification as to who you are and the names on those business credit cards. So it looks like it's you, but you're operating in the private. Very good question. Thank you. Very good.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next question. What document substantiates the non-UCC lien on the debtor? Might be a little tricky one for you guys. What document substantiates the non-UCC lien on the debtor? I'm going to go to James. James Saunders, how you doing? Just got to unmute your mic, James, and you're good to go. There you go.
I'm sorry, I do apologize, Avery. I'll be completely straightforward and say I do not know the answer to that at this time, sir.
All right, no problem. No problem. Let's go to apparel. Is that Spanish?
Hello,
Hello there.
Amparo. Yeah,
Good. Very nice name.
thank you.
You sound new. I don't know if we've spoken before.
Yeah, I changed I'm using my middle name now. I'm the trust protector.
Okay. Okay. Using your middle name.
Yes.
How far are you inside of the course?
I am technically freshman,
Mm-hmm.
but I bought the complete package and I got a lot done. Allegedly been snooping around in a junior class.
Okay. Good. Good. But I should have gave a preface here, because the question I just asked is pertaining to the junior class. So I don't know if you've seen all the content in there, but would you like to take a shot at the question?
I would.
Okay. What document substantiates the non-UCC lien on the debtor?
I'm gonna go with the birth certificate or the promissory note.
Correcto. You have
Yeah.
paid attention. Excellent job. That promissory note is looked upon as a valid mortgage lien. See, when you talk about liens, it's all looked upon like real estate, even your certificate of title. And so we have to provide a promissory note to perfect that certificate of title as something the trust holds as collateral against the debtor. So very good. Very good. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. We got one more question and we are done for today. One more question. When attempting to apply for a passport as a New Yorker national or a North Dakota national, what must be attached to your explanatory statement showing proof you followed the rules of Public Law 94-241? I'll read it one more time. When attempting to apply for a passport as a New Yorker national, or let's say a Nebraskan national, what must be attached to your explanatory statements showing proof that you followed the rules of Public Law 94-241? Going to go to Emily. How are you, Emily?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I'm at the park with a daughter. Man, this was on my list to do for Monday. We finally got a nanny, but I'm gonna say the authenticated birth certificate.
Oh, no. Well, we don't want to give that away. As soon as we get that birth certificate back, that is like gold. You want to keep
No, not
that.
the, yeah, sorry, not the like original one, but your birth certificate showing that what state, which is a country you were born in.
Mhm.
And do you also attach your trustee minutes stating your foreign trustee national and your recorded statement as a national?
That's what I was looking for. The
Okay.
trustee minutes. Yes.
Okay.
You guys have trustee minutes number 4.
Yep.
And that's basically your declaration of nationality. That document is signed and sent in with your non-UCC to be recorded. That way, there is proof you have given your oath under declaration. 1 second here.
Oh, in front of the immigration officer, right? The clerk of court.
Okay. So that trustee minutes number 4 is your declaration of nationality, and we're sending it directly to the clerk in the county. And they are considered to be a immigration officer within a naturalization court. Once that's done, you'll have a file number, a book number, a page number, a date, their seal, and use that with your explanatory statements. I believe Flex here was having some issues with the Department of State rejecting his passport application. And upon restructuring, you will find a video on Patreon talking about the passport rejection, how to get over those humps. And he used that exactly to the T what we're talking about. And he now has his passport card. And I think his book came a little bit after that. So that's what you guys want to do. Thank you, Emily. That was perfect. You said the right thing.
Awesome. Yeah, congratulations. And thank you so much for building this community. I was getting a bit emotional earlier when everyone was saying what they want to do. It's awesome.
Yes. We got big plans. And as long as we operate in the private, we can effectively execute. That's all we got to do. Just operate in the private and you'll be fine. So it's going to be a short class today. Thank you guys for coming in. Let's see here. If any of you want to schedule a time to speak with me, call that 888 number that's in the chat above at the very top, 888-899-2262. Whether you are a private client or a member, call that number. So that way, one of our reps can take the information, compile it, and send out the proper consultation links depending on what you said you needed. It's been a big help to us. A lot of us are calling our personal numbers after hours, so we have to have an 800 number in place so that way we can all be respectable of everybody's time. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next week. I might put some content up this week that you guys can check out. And once again, please check out the trust certificate units video and the trademark unit. If you are past the sophomore class, you definitely need to look at that material and get that information into your computer. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Hey, Avery, I'm sorry for bothering you. I left you a voicemail. I need to make my final payment, sir.
I got your voicemail. I got it.
Okay, if you can get with me then. Thank you, sir.
All right, no problem.